In other news then, United Nations Refugee Agency has issued a new report which documents displacement of refugees to the climate-related disasters. The agency has said that at least 250 million people were forcibly displaced due to extreme weather conditions in the last decade alone. The report, named No Escape 2, The Way Forward, said that floods, storms, drought and even excessive heat were among the key climatic events driving the displacement, which is equivalent of 70,000 people per day. The report even goes on to say that slow onset disasters such as desertification, rising sea levels and ecosystem destruction were threatening food and water security, further worsening the situation for the refugees itself. Additionally, the agency has noted that climate emergency was rapidly intensifying the dire human rights crisis as it added to the woes of 117 million people who were displaced by war, violence and even persecution this year. The UNHCR said that climate crisis was a risk multiplier that exposed and even compounded existing inequalities and injustices, including the impact of conflict, violence and forced displacement within and across border regions. The report observed that number of countries reporting both conflict and disaster-related displacement has been tripled since 2009, but the fragile and conflict-affected countries hosting refugees received only a quarter of the climate finance they actually required. The UNHCR also noted that some of the major disasters included the 2024 flooding of the Brazilian state of Rio Grande do Sul, which ended up displacing as many as 100,000 people, including 43,000 vulnerable refugees from Venezuela, Haiti and Cuba. Similarly, floods forced more than 1.3 million people to flee their houses and camps in Chad. Reports said that the refugees from war-torn Sudan received less than 10 liters of water a day, which was far below the emergency standards. While in 2023, Cyclone Mocha claimed it hit Myanmar, where 160,000 ethnic Rohingyas were living in overcrowded camps since 2012, affected those hundreds and thousands of lives. The report has even warned that by 2050, the hottest refugee camps could face nearly 200 days of dangerous heat stress per year, with serious risks to health and survival, with many locations becoming uninhabitable as well. Moreover, the report read that almost half the world's displaced people were facing conflict and climate impacts in politically fragile states, which include Sudan, Syria, Haiti, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Lebanon, Myanmar, and even Yemen. Even when these countries contributed negligibly to global greenhouse gas emissions. The agency has now concluded that limited such countries needed access to climate finance. The UNHRC has been calling on climate negotiators at COP30 in Brazil to pay attention to this largely ignored and rapidly growing population across the globe.
Em ações